Hi everybody, welcome to Bohicaville. Bend over, here it comes again. Today is Friday, October 25th, 2013. I'm Paul, and I've been following up on a few issues here that I wanted to report on. Um, the first is the continually evolving train wreck called Obamacare. And this first piece, and I'll have links to all this below in the descriptions. This first piece is from the New York Post, um, and it says here, elderly New Yorkers are in a panic after getting notices that insurance companies are booting their doctors from the Medicare Advantage program as a result of the shifting medical landscape under Obamacare. That leaves patients with unenviable choices: keep the same insurance plan and find another doctor, pay out of pocket, or look for another plan where their physician is a member. And the article goes on from there, but it's seems to me that wasn't President Obama promising, if you like the plan that you have now and you like the doctor you have now, you'll be able to keep it? Well, it seems to be that in a lot of cases that isn't true. So I'm wondering what type of backpedaling the administration is going to be doing on that. And I found another piece here from Infowars.com. The pieces of the puzzle on Obamacare are finally coming together. Yesterday, it was revealed during congressional testimony that the healthcare.gov website contains a hidden disclaimer which reads, "You have no reasonable expectation of privacy regarding any communication or data transmitting or stored on this information system." Okay. So first of all, they're forcing you to enter all your information before they'll give you any kind of quote as to how much it is. That's assuming that you can get that far in the process on the website that doesn't work. But now they're saying you have no expectation of privacy with your personal health information. Didn't we pass a law about, 17 years ago or so, back sometime in the 1990s, called HIPAA, the Health Information Portability and Accountability Act, which a large part of that was privacy of personal information. But now they're saying you have no reasonable expectation of privacy. That's kind of strange. But it seems like the status quo for the government. And finally, this is an opinion piece from the editorial page of the New York Times. According to the research firm the Standish Group, 94% of large federal information technology projects over the past 10 years were unsuccessful. More than half were delayed, over budget, or didn't meet user expectations, and 41.4% failed completely. Now, if you have a private company, that depends on voluntary transactions from consumers to stay in business, and you have an IT consulting firm that has a 41.4% failure rate, do you really think you're going to hang on to most of your customers? And the answer to that is no. But the government will be able to hang on to most of these customers because these are people who are not being given a choice. They're being forced into this. You're being forced to purchase health insurance whether you want it or not, whether you can afford it or not, or else the IRS will come and take it out of your bank account. Okay, moving on to NSA spying and police state. As we all know now, the many members of the European Union are getting pretty angry at the NSA, and I don't blame them as far as the NSA spying. And this piece is from Reuters. European Union lawmakers will seek a response from U.S. administration and intelligence officials next week to accusations of widespread spying on EU citizens and governments, including German Chancellor Angela Merkel. And then this piece from the New York Times. The leaders of Germany and France offered on Friday to hold talks with the United States in an effort to come up with mutually acceptable rules for surveillance operations, easing a transatlantic spying dispute that has plunged relations between America and Europe to a low point. So that seems that they have softened a little bit on their rhetoric, but they still they want to talk about it, and they want explanations from the United States, and there is some type of meeting or summit planned for next week at some point. Okay, and finally I got this piece from ZeroHedge.com. The Federal Reserve has extended its control of the U.S. economy, transforming it into a wealth skimming machine for the top 0.1% with access to the Fed's credit creation. Well, I think that's probably true, but I don't know whether it's true that the Federal Reserve is extending its control over the U.S. economy. The Federal Reserve has pretty much had control over the U.S. economy for quite some time now. And speaking of the Federal Reserve, let's move on to banking and the dollar. This piece from Activist Post, it's entitled How to Take Your Money Out of the Bank Without Getting Prosecuted. Just a couple clips from that article here. It is now widely known that the derivatives debt is over $1 quadrillion, and some of the rank and file in this country are concerned that their bank accounts, 401ks, IRAs, and pensions will be confiscated by desperate Tier 2 bankers who are forestalling the inevitable currency collapse by stealing your money. And then, as you move to withdraw the bulk of your money, there are three federal banking laws that you should be cognizant of. Cash Transaction Report, or CTR, a Suspicious Activity Report, SAR, and Structuring. And then the article goes on to explain what all those mean and what it means for you as a banking consumer. And I picked this piece up off of USAWatchdog.com weekly news wrap-up. And a couple clips from that article. Ever heard of the petro-dollar? If it were not for Saudi Arabia, the term may have never come into existence. It was Saudi Arabia that first started using the dollar as the exclusive currency with which to buy its oil. The rest of the world followed suit, and it's been that way ever since the early 1970s. If Saudi Arabia starts taking payment in other currencies, you can kiss the dollar goodbye as the world reserve currency. And then another piece of dollar negative news you are not being told about is the NSA spying is causing a rift in Europe so big that the European Union is suspending the U.S. from the Global Financial Data Bank to avoid spying. So we see here how the NSA spying is having an effect on our relations with the EU, and also the fact that we haven't taken any offensive action in Syria has angered the Saudis because they want to run an oil pipeline through Syria. So they want us to go in and put our troops' lives on the line in Syria so we can take over there and get that pipeline through Syria so that Saudi Arabian kings and princes can get even richer than they already are, at the price of American lives and American dollars, which are really fake dollars since the Federal Reserve creates them out of nothing. Woo! Wow. We are deep down the rabbit hole, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I have for now. I'll probably be back later today with some more updates. Ciao.